Welcome to Daily Joy, where every movie is a story waiting to be relived. Today's movie name is Unfriended, Dark Web. Be aware that this video contains spoilers, so proceed with caution. At the start of the movie, we see a computer screen with someone attempting to log in. After multiple failed attempts, he finally succeeds. Once logged in, someone enter the Wi-Fi password, which unexpectedly activates the computer's camera, revealing the user's face. Surprised by this sudden activation, the person quickly disables the camera. The user then accesses his Gmail account, identifying himself as Matthias O'Brien. He proceeds to download an application called Papaya onto the computer and texts his girlfriend, Amaya, asking her to join a video call. When Amaya, who is deaf and communicates through sign language, connects with Matthias, he demonstrates the Papaya app, which converts his speech to text. However, Amaya is visibly unimpressed and begins signing rapidly, which Matthias struggles to follow. Frustrated, Amaya steps away from the screen, instructing him to stay put. Matthias agrees, but his laptop suddenly freezes, causing the call to drop. He tries calling Amaya several times and leaves her messages, but she doesn't respond. Shortly after, Matthias is contacted by Serena, who invites him to join a Skype game night with their friends. Matthias then informs Amaya of this and logs into Skype. He receives multiple messages on the former owner's Facebook account and logs in to verify. He searches through the former owner's profile, Nora CI, but there is no face there. He then accesses Norse messages, discovering multiple texts from various girls begging for a good time while reading them. Matthias receives a call from his buddies, who invite him to join their card game against humanity. His pals say his camera is really good and crisp. Matthias chuckles and tells him he has a wonderful new laptop. The gang congratulates him and then resumes the game. Matthias' laptop freezes once more, and the call ends. Matthias rejoins the call to see AJ ranting about conspiracy theories. He checks on Damon and informs him of the regular wrecks. Damon informs him that the problem must be caused by the full storage. He checks the storage and discovers that it is really full. He informs Damon of this and comments that it's strange that the storage is full yet there are no files on the computer. Damon instructs him to use a program called Daisy Disk to locate the heavy files. On the call, the group begins to joke and laugh as Matthias launches Daisy Disk. The study reveals that a hidden folder consumes a significant portion of the computer storage. Damon then provides Matthias some instructions, revealing 2 untitled folders on his desktop. Matthias investigates one of the hidden directories, discovering 3 files called Accounts in an untitled subdirectory. The unnamed subfolder is the largest of the 3, taking up to 900 megabytes. He searches through the folder's contents and discovers a lot of pointless videos. On the Skype session, AJ informs everyone that he has purchased new speakers and begins playing incredibly loud music on them. Serena and Nari confess that they are engaged, and the others are stunned when Nari describes how Serena proposed to her by placing a ring in her tea. Matthias asks Serena if her mother knows, but his question saddens her. Nari informs Serena that her mother is in severe condition at the hospital. Following this, the others quickly lighten the mood and change the subject, eagerly discussing Serena and Nari's engagement. Amaya contacts Matthias and informs him that she is dissatisfied with the fact that he is unwilling to make an effort for her while Matthias begins watching a video of him. She tells him she wants him to learn to sign, but he keeps looking for shortcuts while Amaya is still talking. Nora's account becomes inundated with text messages from an Erica Dune on Facebook. Matthias begins to gaze at them instead of paying full attention to Amaya, which irritates her and he disconnects the conversation. More messages from Erica's account show to Matthias that she is Nora, the person whose laptop he stole. Matthias initially tries to tell Nora that he purchased the laptop, but when she asks him to show her the advertisement, he understands he has been caught. He tells her that he'll leave the laptop where he found it and is ready to go, but just as he's going to depart, several new messages on North's account capture his attention. He becomes interested and opens them to discover Sharon68 complimenting Nora's work and asking if she is available for another task. After discovering that Karen's profile contains no information, Matthias becomes suspicious and asks Sharon what she wants. Sharon advises him that he can't tell him on Facebook, therefore he should get on the river. Matthias asks Damon if he knows anything about the river, but Damon tells him he has never heard of it before. Matthias runs a river from the hidden folder, causing the application to connect across numerous VPNs and display an animated image of a boat going across a river. Matthias's pals see his puzzled expressions and ask him what's wrong. Matthias shares his screen and displays it to them. Demon mentions that the river is connected in an untraceable manner and speculates that it must be an app used to reach the dark web, a location where all wicked and unlawful actions occur. A chat box appeared, with numerous active individuals named Sharon, identified by numbers following a Google search. Matthias discovered that Charon is a ferryman from Greek mythology who transports the souls of the departed across a river, connecting the worlds of the living and the dead. Matthias finally admits to his buddies that he stole a laptop from a cyber cafe where he was working, after it had been in the lost and found department for quite some time. He then shows them the owner's Facebook profile. Damon explains that the name reads Sharon backwards, hence the owner of this laptop, Nora CI, is actually Sharon 4. Matthias begins telling them everything. He begins by showing them the videos, which, as AJ pointed out, were created without people's knowledge. Matthias opens a file called Account and discovers bitcoins worth $10 million inside. Sharon 68 sends Matthias a message across the river. Matthias queries him about the appointed mission and discovers that Sharon 68 wants him to kidnap and torture a girl. The group freaks out and instructs Matthias to close the app. The screen begins to fill up with Erica messages, but Matthias does not answer, as advised by his friend. Inside the Movies folder, Matthias discovers a folder called Contributions, which contains multiple recordings of kidnapped girls being tortured. The most recent submission video depicts a man creeping into a girl's room while she is sleeping. He moves around the room and smiles into the camera before the video stops. Nari remarks that because the most recent girl was still in her bed, she must be safe. She proposes they contact the police before she is kidnapped. Matthias gets a call from Amaya, but when he answers, he finds nobody on the other end. He sees Kelly, Amaya's friend, enter the house, and manages to capture her attention. Kelly begins conversing to him, but the screen unexpectedly blacks out. When the footage returns, a figure in black approaches behind Kelly and suffocates her to death. The screen pixelates and Matthias gets a message from Amaya's account saying he needs to return the laptop. The assassin then tells him not to mention anything to Amaya and goes to hide Kelly's body. All his messages disappear as he leaves. When Amaya walks out of the shower, Matthias catches her attention and tells her that Kelly left already. When Amaya goes to get changed, the assassin returns and tells Matthias to call Amaya over to his place, saying he'll follow her, and the Matthias takes Amaya and invites her to come over. He notices that his pals on Skype are planning to report the incident. He stops them and convinces them that it was all a prank. The gang stares blankly at him for a time before laughing it off. Amaya grabs Matthias, claiming she does not want to come over, but more messages cause him to encourage her to come over immediately. Matthias, on the verge of tears, tells Amaya that he cares for her and loves her more than anything. Amaya melts after seeing him so emotional and tells him she'll meet him soon. After some research, Matthias discovers that the girl in the most recent video was Erica Dune, a 17-year-old who recently went missing. Still convinced it was a prank, Damon asks Matthias what if they had decided to take all the money, which gives Matthias an idea, knowing the hacker is able to see and hear him at all times. Matthias transfers all his money to himself. The assassin tries to stop him, but Matthias completes the transfer anyway. He then tells him that he'll return the money when Erica is safely returned to her house. The assassin calls Matthias through a hacked account and yells at him with a manipulated voice, telling him that he cannot let Erica go, since it will get him in trouble. The river appears on the screen, and Sharon begins asking Matthew to recite the code. The assassin fully loses control and forgets about his disguise. He orders Matthias to return his belongings, but he refuses, claiming they will both die if he does not give him the code. The assassin gives up and tells him the code. Sharon then asks a few more questions, which Matthias responds after receiving direction from the assassin. The application then closes and the assassin disconnects the call. When Matthias returns to Skype, Nari tells him that she found the girl from the last contribution video. Matthias tells her that he grabbed the video from a live league, but this doesn't seem to convince her. An anonymous person then joins their Skype call through an account named Sharon. The next thing, several more Sharons join the call and a video is played on the screen showing someone hacking into Lexi's school records and revealing her whereabouts. They realize that Lex is no longer in the call. They are then shown a video in which Lex is standing on the roof of a tall building. Someone suddenly charges at her from the back and pushes her into death. The others freak out and wonder if that was real, but Matthias seems equally terrified. A command is then entered within the chat box to kick Lex and the circle off the call. Amaya contacts Matthias and informs him that she is almost at the train. Matthias instructs her not to disconnect the conversation at any cost, but Amaya thinks he's acting strangely. She does what she's told. When Lex does not answer Nari's phone, she decides to call the police. Matthias panics and begs her not to do this, but she won't listen. When Matthias discovers that Amaya has lost connection, he tells the truth. He begs them to act naturally when Amaya returns online, claiming that the assassin who is following her will also have links and would be able to observe them. As a result, when Amaya returns online, everyone joins in. When the assassin asks about Lex, Matthias informs him that she is occupied with her boyfriend. During another incident of connection loss, Nori informs him that a buddy from the Force is visiting her. Matthias offers Damon access to his laptop so he can duplicate her data and locate the missing females. Following this, Amaya reconnects, and Nari exits the room, claiming she needs to use the restroom. Sharon joins their Skype session and again opens AJ's YouTube profile. The group watches in horror as Sharon pulls clips from AJ's movies and manipulates them into a violent voice message, which he subsequently relays to the police over 911. Shortly after, the police arrive at AJ's house and order him to surrender. While AJ approaches to his door, Sharon downloads gunshot noises from his computer and plays them over his loudspeakers. The police open fire from outside after hearing the gunfire that killed AJ in front of his door. AJ is then forced to leave the call while the others cry and sorrow. The assassin understands that the Circle knows he lost his laptop and informs Matthias that everyone will die. Matthias informs Serena and Damon that Sharon is ready to assassinate Amaya. Serena informs him that Nari can assist because she is on her way to Amaya. Sharon joins the conversation again and shows Serena images from 2 security cameras, one of her mother in the hospital and the other of Nari near the metro station. He then instructs her to choose while a countdown begins in the background. Serena starts crying and begs him to stop, but the countdown continues. While Serena is still undecided, Nari and her mother are slaughtered in front of her. Serena is then killed at her home. Amaya informs Matthias that the metro has halted due to an accident. Matthias tells her to go to the park and rides his bike from the home to meet her. Damon is now alone in front of the screen. Damon informs the person watching that he has extracted the laptop's coordinates, and the police will now be able to locate all of the girls. Sharon starts Erica's footage on the screen and replaces the assassin's face with Matthias's, while a person dressed in dark places a body in Matthias' room. Matthias's cell account is then compelled to be connected to the call. Damon tells Matthias that they've been set up for the entire event, and they fell right into it. Sharon kicks Damon and adds Amaya to the call. Amaya informs Matthias that she is close to the building. When Matthias tells her that he intended her to go to the park, Amaya tells him that she got a text from his number requesting her to go to a new address. Matthias' video is then disabled by the hackers as they use the Papaya app to guide Amaya inside the building. Amaya is forcefully kicked from the call after this, and Damon is added. Man is seen dragging Damon across his room before hanging him to his door. As Damon suffocates to death, a letter is typed on his computer admitting his evil crimes. Matthias breaks down in the middle of the road. Amaya is then shown to him as she walks into an empty building. A man approaches her unexpectedly and abducts her. Sharon then begins asking whether Matthias should live or die while the votes are being cast. Matthias is shown his house, where Erica emerges from his closet and begins pleading for assistance. She reaches for her forehead and removes a bandage, revealing a large hole in her skull. She cries in anguish and gets thrown off the call. Following this, the poll results show that a majority of people want Matthias to die. A car suddenly approaches and crashes into Matthias, killing him on the spot. All of the cameras from the murder scenes shows all Sharon staring into the screens, and as the image is zooming out we see a live broadcast named Game Night which ends up in a confusing manner.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe button to my channel to see more videos like this.